Front Row Motorsports leaves its RFK alliance. There is controversy over how the Clash at the Coliseum has been laid out, and Jimmie Johnson has added some races and, well, a whole lot more driver movement. Let's get into it coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, first things first, let's get into this report from the Daily Downforce saying that Rajak Karuth is going to Spire. Daily Downforce saying here, and Rajak Karuth has landed a done deal. Find out where he is going in 2024. To which they say, sources tell the Daily Downforce that Rajak Karuth is set to go to Spire Motorsports in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2024. It was not specified whether it would be part-time or full-time, but Karuth seems to have his 2024 plans set. Of course, last season, Rajak had a much better second half of the season. The last 10 races, he had 3 top 10 finishes, so he showed what he could do. All the way through ARCA, back to late models, he has shown what he can do, and at the very end of the Truck Series season last year, he showed what he could do once again. Now, let's look at the equipment he's going to be in, because that is also interesting. Of course, Spire last season ran a partial schedule in basically what was an all-star truck. They didn't run the full season, but the races that they did run, which were basically Hendrick all-star races, I think William Byron won at Martinsville, if I'm not mistaken, last season. So the truck was good last year, and to bolster that even further, they bought out KBM. KBM, the storied truck franchise, one of the better Truck Series teams of all time. So we know the equipment there is good. So this will probably be some of the best equipment that Rajak has ever sat in. So I expect this season, whether he runs part-time, full-time, or whatever, to show what he can do. So back to the part-time, full-time thing, we already know that they're going to run 2 full-time trucks, and we also know that they're going to run another all-star truck. Chase Purdy already signed for a full season. Is Rajak Karuth going to be that other driver that does another full season, or will he be driving the all-star truck partially when the all-stars aren't in it? We don't know. They also have another truck that's going to run full-time that is basically a satellite operation in Rev Racing, and that's going to be Nick Sanchez again. As you can see right here from Rev Racing, his crew chief will be Kevin Bono Mannion, and he will continue to build on the great season that he had last year. Trackhouse Racing news, Quaker State extends their partnership with the House, including sponsorship for Daniel Suarez's return to the NASCAR Mexico Series at the LA Coliseum. So, of course, he had the nice Quaker State throwback car last season. We'll see if Quaker State does that again. But this scheme will also be special, I'm sure, to Daniel Suarez and his fans, because it's getting him back to his roots, the NASCAR Mexico Series, where he came from. So it'll be really cool. And that race, of course, will be the race before the Clash at the Coliseum finale, or the main event or whatever. Speaking of the Clash, NASCAR has finally released the schedule, so the heat races will happen on Saturday, February 3rd. Heat 1 will be 25 laps, Heat 2 will be 25 laps, Heat 3 and 4 will also be 25 laps, and each of those heats will advance 5 drivers, so that will give you 20 drivers, and that will be that for Saturday. Then there will be the Sunday, a last chance race, will be 75 laps. That will also advance 2 drivers, and then there will be a 23rd driver that will be whoever finished highest in the 2023 season point standings. And I really wish that that was the end of that story. However, it has come out via Bob Pockrass and a couple of others that there will be no fan attendance on Saturday. No reason given as of yet, but let's look at this tweet from Bob Pockrass. Answering this question from Ninja Chris, why was it not made clear when you buy tickets? Do my Sunday tickets get me into Saturday? Where Bob Pockrass responded by saying there is no public access on Saturday at the Clash from what I understand. Joshua Lepowski from the Daily Downforce then went and double-checked. He said, I just checked the ticket website and they are not promoting or selling tickets for Saturday. They only mention Sunday. And so here's where it gets super controversial, because in the previous clashes, which in my opinion, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I've liked the previous clashes specifically for the heat races. I think the heat races have been the best races at that particular event, and I think not having the fans there is a major mistake. Now, several people have given reasons as to why this possibly may be. There has been no official word from NASCAR, but some people are saying that maybe there's some regulations in California that won't let it. But either way, I've got to lay this on the lap of NASCAR, because they should have known that before they planned this event if they couldn't get people into the stadium on a Saturday. So I'm still going to have to lay it on the lap of NASCAR. And I think it's a really bad call, because the heat races, in my opinion, have been the show, because the main event itself has not been as good as the heat races, in my opinion. I think the overall event has been good for new fans. It's an experiment every single season, but I can't defend not having fans there for the heat races on Saturday. Maybe y'all guys disagree. Let me know down in the comments below.
The smaller teams like us kind of have to do things like that to survive, because we don't have the big engineering departments. So a lot of it, the reason it's called Technical Alliance, is just getting the support for your simulation tools or processes to measure parts and things like that. And we've kind of always done that with RFK for a long time, and now we're switching over to Penske. So I can't necessarily speak to all of it, because we're still in the middle of working out the details of the new one. But the gist is that you don't have 20 engineers at the shop providing information at our place, so you kind of go be aligned with the team that does have that and just use their information.
That clip right there from Sirius XM on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. I'm always going to call it Twitter. It's just ingrained in my head. Anyway, but that was basically letting everybody know that RFK and Front Row Motorsports are no longer aligned. They didn't give a specific reason as to why they're not aligned, but he said that's what teams have to do to survive. So maybe, I'm just speculating, maybe it was a financial issue. Maybe they could no longer afford to pay RFK what they were paying RFK. Just speculation. I'm just trying to figure out what the need was to change, but they are now aligned with Penske, so let's break it down. Their alliance with RFK, at least the last few years, have provided some really good results. They, of course, won the Daytona 500. They won another race this season and got into the playoffs. So it has yielded fruit. They have, the last 3 or 4 seasons have been, in my opinion, the most productive seasons for Front Row Motorsports, who always seem to just keep inching up, and getting better and better every season. This switch over there to Penske has been met with some people scratching their head, and here is why. The only Penske Alliance car that we have to go off of is the Wood Brothers. Now, whereas the Wood Brothers Penske Alliance started off very, very strong. If you go back to the days of Ryan Blaney when he was driving for him, was really good. Paul Menard had some good runs in that car, and Matt DiBenedetto got that car into the playoffs. But after Matt DiBenedetto left, it has been a steep fall off, and we haven't seen a lot of good things coming from the Wood Brothers, unfortunately, other than super speedways where they've had some speed. But Harrison Burton, unfortunately, has been caught up in some wrecks, some of his doing, some not of his doing. So it begs the question, is it going to be the same level of alliance and technology that they were getting from RFK? And that's what a lot of fans are speculating. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But a lot of people sort of up in arms about this and about the Clash. These were the two big controversies of the day. All right, and I'm just going to run through these really quickly so I don't make another 15-minute monster video. Daniel Dye will run 10 races in the 10 car for Colleague in the Xfinity Series next season. Sam Hunt signs the former Yugo race car driver Jeffrey Earnhardt to the 26 for a partial schedule. He, of course, taken over for Kaz Grala, I would assume, there. And we'll have to see who else they put in that 26, or will the 26 just be running a partial? Chris Lawson named crew chief for Justin Haley. Haley, of course, won the RC title at the Chili Bowl this season. By the way, I meant to include that in the last episode, but I didn't. Harrison's has signed with Josh Berry as a primary sponsor for next season for several races. And Jimmie Johnson adds 3 races with Carvana, those races being Daytona, Indy, and Phoenix. So this is now what Jimmie Johnson's schedule looks like. February 18th, Daytona. April 14th, Texas. April 28th, Dover. May 5th, Kansas. May 26th, Charlotte. July 21st, the Brickyard. September 29th, Kansas. October 20th, Las Vegas. November 10th, Phoenix. And finally, unfortunately, some sad news to sign off with. Ryan Pemberton passed away. I think he was at the age of 54. So just another bummer. Like, it seems like we're losing a lot of NASCAR family veterans and stuff like that. Legends, whatever adjective you want to use to describe them. Just really unfortunate. It seems like it's been back to back to back. But unfortunately, we've lost another one.